Good morning everyone and welcome to another video. Today is travel day. It is about 2:45 in the morning, so I am not as energized as I seem. Yes. We are going to head down in just a few minutes down to the cab that is hopefully waiting for us then. And it's gonna take us to the airport. It's a little bit troublesome to get from here to the airport this early in the morning. Usually we take a bus, but it doesn't go this far. It starts at 4 o'clock in the morning, and so does the train. So we can't really get from here without a cab. So cab it is. Yeah, we are all packed and ready to go. I will talk to you in a few moments. As I just said, we took a cab to the airport because there are no buses going at this early hour at 4 in the morning. We are going to leave Arlanda at around 6 in the morning, so that's very early. But yeah, we are driving here to Terminal 5, which is the kind of international terminal over at Arlanda, which is our kind of home airport. So we're driving in there. You get to see a little bit. It's fairly dark outside, but you'll see a little bit of our way there. Like, I'm so tired this early in the morning when traveling, so this is what you get. When we are arriving at the Terminal 5, we did go directly to be able to check in. We were a little bit early. I think we had to wait like 30 minutes to be able to check in our baggage. And just where our baggage claim was, or where we put in our baggage, was this beautiful little Christmas tree, which is also just outside the security gates. We're not allowed to show you the security, but after the security we do get into the tax-free section of the airport, and they actually have closed it off so that you need to go through the whole tax-free. Before, there was a little place where you could kind of just get out, so you didn't have to go through it all, but you do, sadly. However, it was gorgeously decorated for Christmas as we traveled out the 18th of December. So beautiful Christmas decorations. I really liked going through here. We have now gone through security. I was stopped. They tested me for drugs. Do I look like a person that does those things? I don't know. I have my posture corrector on me because I've been having some back issues. So that might actually be the reason. They're like, what is this? That is a strange thing. It just helps me with my back. Also, my bag was stopped because I had a scissor in it. However, it was small enough so I can travel with it. And I don't know, I hear from people that like they have removed nail clippers and stuff, but I took my little scissors and they worked great, at least from here, from Sweden. So I got through, and we're now sitting and waiting for the lounge to open so that we can have a little bit of a breakfast before we leave. So it's about 4:50, 4:20 or something like that. So it's about 40 minutes to the lounge open and an hour and 40 minutes until our plane goes. So our plane is the first out. So the lounge opens 1 hour before the first plane, and ours is our first plane. So, but it's like a 2-3 minute walk up to our where our gate is. So we don't have to worry about it. But yeah, it went really fine through security anyhow. So yeah, we're on our way. First leg of the trip is Oslo. We're just staying at the airport because we only have like a 2-hour 15-minute layover or something. But first leg of the trip, Oslo. And we're off to Norway and the Oslo airport. Now, we did spend about 40 minutes in the lounge. It is the SAS lounge. So let me kind of inform you a little bit about our trip.
So we fly exclusively with SAS or Star Alliance. SAS is Scandinavian Airlines. The reason for this is when we did research before we started traveling to the US, we kind of figured out that the way to be able to travel more often is to pick one airline and then just continue flying with them and be a part of their like point system and everything. This will make flying cheaper. Very often you can use points to upgrade and such. And also by doing this, you also get a lot of different perks. The higher you come on their list, the more perks you get. So, and because we already knew that we were flying most often Atlantic flights, we do get quite a lot of points for those Atlantic flights, and therefore we very quickly got up to a higher level in their point system and starting being able to reap those things, sort of speak. And one of those things is that we can visit the Gold Lounge in Arlanda, which is super nice lounge. It's very clean, it's very comfortable, they have food there. And when we have been looking at things, like there's 2 lounges for SAS in Arlanda. There's the Gold Lounge, and then is the regular lounge. The regular lounge you can pay for, or if you go with their premium tickets, you will get a place there. And when we were calculating prices, very often the standard tickets that we needed and the difference to a premium ticket actually kind of made it more sense, because you got the lounges and you got the extra food, which food is nice. Having extra food is super nice. And by the way, while we're talking about food, we also get with our premium tickets, we do get breakfast in the morning for this flight, which is a shorter flight. So we got some yogurts and sandwich and juice and some tea. It was really, really good. Now we were fairly full after we had eaten in the lounge, but it's quite nice to also get some food when we sit down on the flight, because you never know. We never have stayed in Oslo before, so we didn't know how their lounge would look like and how the food you could get there would be. I must say, I do enjoy the Oslo lounge a little bit more than the Arlanda. They had a little bit more food, they had more choices, and they also had more food for an allergy prone person like me. There was a lot of gluten-free stuff, and they had really good coffee. Well, I think I actually picked up a Starbucks, because they do have Starbucks, which Arlanda no longer has, which is also very sad. Starbucks is my go-to. I enjoy it. And as you see here, we are starting to come into Oslo. The stay was about 2 hours. The whole flight was very uneventful. It was fairly quick. It's sad though. We were hoping to get a direct flight. We couldn't get a direct flight out to Gran Canaria. And I will tell you about the chaos that ended our trip later on. But yeah, doing a flight first to Oslo and then down to Gran Canaria just adds time, because the time from Oslo to Gran Canaria is actually the same from Sweden to Gran Canaria. So we had about 4 hours to our trip. But yeah, didn't really mind though. It was a nice trip both ways. It was a calm trip, as I said. So yeah, enjoyed it. I enjoy this trip. It was cold though, as you can see. It's really, really cold, and you got all of this. It's like -10 or something when we landed. But yeah, it was a nice layover. It was a nice layover. So of course I needed to show you the beautiful decorations that they had in Norway, in Oslo. They are really shiny, and they actually had all of these decorations up when we returned early January, because we ended up having to go through Oslo then too. More about that towards the end of the video. This is the Norway lounge. I didn't take more photos like this. I'm very in the beginning of a trip. Sometimes I'm very, very uncomfortable recording videos, especially on airports. I don't know, it's nervousness, and I haven't been vlogging in public for a very long time. So you get what you get with this little one. I have more clips though. I do have quite long of a video. But yeah, that was our airplane. We got on it. So the airplane, I think we're riding on Airbuses. But anyhow, one of the kind of sad things by going to Las Palmas is that there are no like entertainment on the plane. That is what I really enjoy flying Atlantic flights. You have the entertainment, you can watch movies, you can do all of those things. And I think we had flight as short as 7 hours. It kind of very much depends on winds and what way you are flying when you're doing Atlantic flights. So you can have it as low as 7, and I think I had as long as 10 hours. But the flight down to Gran Canaria is 6 hours. Whether you go from Oslo or Stockholm, it's 6 hours long. And I kind of feel like with that long of a trip, why don't they have entertainment? Anyhow, I entertained myself. I did crossword puzzles the whole trip, I think. I don't think I even picked up my cross stitch at all during this trip. Or during the trip I did, but not during the flight. I always buy a Swedish crossword puzzle whenever I leave to go somewhere, because I really don't like takeoffs and landing, and a crossword puzzle is something I can do. I can't really do cross stitching during takeoff and landing because I need the table down, but crossword puzzles, I can have it in my lap. So that is what I do to kind of get myself to not notice that there's takeoffs and landings. Anyhow, this flight was super nice. We did go premium this time too, which means that we had lunch also included in the trip. I did, however, not show you my lunch because I forgot about that. Flying days are usually very exhausting. Like even if you fly shorter periods, I do feel like doing the flight itself really makes your body exhausted. Anyhow, didn't mind the flying though, because landing in Gran Canaria, it was like 21 degrees warm, sunny. It was super nice. It was great. And we tried for our first time to take a bus from the airport to our hotel because that was the cheapest way to get there. And we accidentally actually stepped off 2 stations too early. So we had to go back to that station and hop on another bus to get to our hotel. Everything worked out, but I was a little bit afraid of the buses after that. And even though we had plans, we never ended up going on those buses again. So that was a little bit sad, but that is also one of the reasons why this vlog is a little bit shorter. A lot of the time we just spent like sitting at Starbucks, and I was doing Etsy stuff and Christopher was doing coding stuff. So we took the time for this trip to just breathe, I think, to just relax a lot. I do have more than that. We did go on some adventures and they are coming up. But yeah, it was a very de-stressing kind of a trip. I haven't had such a de-stressing trip in a very long time. I really enjoyed this trip, even though it didn't end well. But more about that towards the end of this video. But yeah, I really enjoyed this trip. However, most likely we will not return unless Christopher's parents wants us to come, and then we'll return just to hang with them. But yeah, I will make a separate video about all of those things, because I think there's a lot to go through, like the pros and cons of the trip. I did enjoy it though. It was very calm. It was very de-stressing, as I said, and I've been needing that. I've been needing just a couple of weeks to just disconnect from everything and everyone and just enjoying being in the moment. And that was kind of what our trip ended up being, just being in the moment. We talked a lot. We talked about future plans and we dreamed a lot during this vacation. And yeah, I'm super happy that we did fly away on this trip, and I'm super happy that we are back home. And you can love both of them, right? Right. So yeah, we have now landed here in Gran Canaria. It is warm, it is sunny. I almost said there's not a cloud in the sky. However, as you see, there were clouds in the sky, and I think we actually had one rainy day during all of this. There's not that many rainy days. We had temperatures between like 18 and 26 degrees all the through our vacation, which was between the 18th of December to the 4th of January or 5th. I don't remember. Anyhow.
Good morning everyone, and welcome to the first full day, so I will call it day 1 here at Gran Canaria. I didn't speak to you last night because I was quite exhausted, I must say, very, very exhausted. Traveling like long haul flights always takes it out of me. But yeah, we are here. It is beautiful. It is beaches and sun and warmth, and yeah, good morning guys. Hope you have an awesome day. So guys, we have traveled down to Centro Comercial Las Arenas. If I'm not pronouncing that correctly, that's because Spanish isn't really my strong suit. I took Spanish for 2 years when I was like 18, that's 20 years ago. I haven't really used it. I can read most Spanish, which helps when trying to find the ingredients list of stuff so that I don't get sick. But I cannot kind of talk it, maybe pronounce some of the things. But anyhow, this is a mall, and it's kind of south from us, so we have just walked about 30 minutes. It's 2.3 kilometers, I think, just walking down the beach. Didn't take any photos today because I have a really bad migraine and I need to kind of nurture that, so we're just taking it easy. But we are going to walk down here more times, so we're gonna show you all of it. I promise. But yes, we've gotten down here. It's a little bit early. The thing was, we have a Starbucks just if we go from our hotel out to the beach, which is about 5 minutes to 3 minutes, something like that. It's not a very long walk. There is a Starbucks, which works for me because I need Starbucks. You know how much I need my Starbucks. So we went there and we picked up some food and a coffee. Each of us got a coffee. I got a gingerbread spice latte. Super good. I love them. My favorite though, they don't have it in Europe. That is the chestnut praline. Only comes in the US, so sorry for myself because that's my favorite, but gingerbread spices are really nice. So I picked one up, and when we sat there I realized that the walkway up down to the mall, it was in shadow because the sun kind of goes up in the other direction. If I remember, I'm going to put in an image, or I would have put in an image of the sun going up this morning because that was gorgeous. We have it from our hotel room. Sadly, that is like a working harbor, so it's not a beautiful view, but the sun up was beautiful. The dawn was beautiful. So yeah, but that means that the beach walkway was actually in shadow, and like better maybe to walk down when it's a little bit cooler. just so not we burn ourselves the first day. So we started walking down, and when we came down here we realized there's like half an hour until they officially open. So we found these nice seats just outside McDonald's. So this is actually the McDonald's area. It is gorgeous. Strangely enough, it's gorgeous. The seats are actually very comfortable, so we thought we'd sit down here because they haven't opened yet, so we could kind of steal a seat while we were waiting for the rest of the mall to open. And then we're gonna run around and just go to different shops and look, and we're gonna stay here until lunch. And yeah, that is how our morning had started. So good morning.
So this is the area that we were sitting in. It's just like McDonald's furniture, but because it wasn't open, we can just sit there. Also, some houses. On the way back, I did record a couple of houses because I really love the architecture. I just love architecture. It's one of those things that just makes me happy.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 2 here in Las Palmas de Gran Canaria. So yesterday was more of a taking it easy kind of a day. I took my migraine medication just like the same day as we traveled, like just in the morning. So I still have some migraines, so that is kind of reducing my speed, but it's been awesome here. Yesterday we basically just went back and down and back to a mall. So there's a mall down the beach. It's about 2.5 kilometers. It took us about 35 minutes to walk. So it's a long walk, and I'm not used to walking, so I ended up walking over 10k yesterday, which is like, I never do that. But yeah, it was super nice just walking around, taking it easy. But I didn't vlog that much because I was so tired, so I just concentrated on just being, just breathing, just everything. It was a great day yesterday. So we headed out at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we got back to the hotel room around 2ish. We ended up going up to the top of the hotel, which has a little swimming pool, and just sitting there. I was doing some blog posting. I still have a lot to do because the blog is gigantic. I think I'm gonna need to like continuously throughout the week actually start updating the blog so that I have less to do for my FlossTube channel, because it takes time. I think I put in like a solid hour and a half yesterday, and I'm not halfway through, so yay. But today, this morning, we are going to go to an aquarium, and I'm taking you with me, so I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you there. But good morning.
I thought I'd show you the hotel that we're staying at. That is this big building. And if you want to know more about the hotel, there will be coming up a sit-down video where I kind of talk about the hotel and what we liked about it. The whole trip, really. There's a few things to notice. But right now we're going to head into Puerma del Mar. It is just next to these huge like cruise ships and stuff. But yeah, Puerma del Mar is an aquarium. It was just across our hotel, so it was fairly close. We were recommended to go there by Christopher's parents, and we really enjoyed it. And if you're new to this channel, you might not know this, but me and Christopher, we really enjoy going to like aquariums and zoos and such, and look at all of the animals. And by the way, here's Christopher going to show you that you can actually walk on the glass, because yes, I did not walk on the glass. I think those things is a kind of scary. But yeah, the Puerma del Mar is a center for like conservation and stuff, and that is also one of the reasons why we enjoy going to aquariums and zoos, because they usually are all about conservation. The money that comes in that you pay for your trip will pay both for the upkeep of the aquarium itself, but also for the conservation, that is a hard word, for the animals and such close by. I think that most of the animals in this aquarium does have are like from Gran Canaria, or from the seas outside Gran Canaria. So it's very much like showcasing what exists, and for us it is very exotic, because this is not the kind of fishes and animals that we do have. They had a bunch of turtles and lizards also in this area, and they're gorgeous and they're beautiful. Like, I love fishes. I grew up in the archipelago. If you didn't know, I grew up in the archipelago just outside Stockholm, and a big part of that life I left when I was 18. Before that was we ate a lot of fish. We fished, we swim in the sea, and for me, I have found that staying or living where there is a coastline or bigger areas of water is kind of a necessity. I feel very claustrophobic when I stay in areas that is mostly just woods and mountains. But anyhow, this aquarium is really nice. It's kind of laid out in a 8 formation, so you will cross the road in the middle, and you start at the bottom and then you go upwards, and then you come down again in that little 8. They have so many different sizes of aquariums, and like both real trees and fake trees. I'm trying to zoom in on a lizard here. However, as you see, I never got it to focus, but I love the colors. I kept the clip in, so yeah. One of the things I really enjoyed with Poema del Mar is that it's very beautifully decorated. It gets me like the feeling of like Animal Kingdom. Even though Disney is better at all of those things, they really have decorated the place. Not only is the enclosures very much decorated, really making it looks like the animal are in the wild, even though we all know that it's just a tank. But also they have decorated the outside too. And in the beginning when you came in, if you didn't notice that, they had dinosaurs flying. They had dinosaurs up in the rafters, which I think was kind of fun. But yeah, it's a beautiful aquarium. It's a gorgeous aquarium. It's not the biggest aquarium I've been in. It was a couple of hours of walking, and then we were basically done. So you don't have to take a full day here. I'm not sure that it is enough things for a full day. However, there is a lot, and you could really have stopped more and looked more on the different enclosures. But when we got in there were like a group of people from one of the cruise lines that just came in before us. So when we were able to kind of pass them when we were doing this, it felt it was a little bit better. Like we could move on. And you see it, they even have crocodiles. I think it was a crocodile. Yeah, I think it's a crocodile. I don't know the difference between a crocodile and there was people in this enclosure. It was one person that was kind of making sure that the alligator didn't go up to the other, and one was fixing something. And that was actually something that there was a lot of people cleaning the different enclosures. There were scuba divers in multiple different pools, some together, some alone. There were also watchers that watch out for the scuba divers. So I don't know if that is a regular occurrence or it was just when we were there, but I really didn't mind it at all. It was kind of fun seeing how they cleaned the tank and got everything done. So yeah, I really enjoyed this walk around. This was like day 1 of the trip, something like that. Don't remember when I'm doing this voiceover, of course, but I just told you before. So it was early in the trip, and I was so sore in my legs. Like, I'm not used to walking a lot, and especially after having a I think 9-week migraine period, which ended up just laying in bed most of the time. I hadn't walked a lot, so my muscles was really, really sore because we just started off this trip walking and walking and walking. But by week 1, after that was done, I didn't have any pain anymore. I was feeling much healthier. I was feeling much more energized. So yeah, coming up here, as soon as the weather is warming up here in Sweden, I'm gonna go out walking a lot because that was nice. This is kind of the tubular kind of enclosure that they had at the top, and as you can see, they have some palm trees and stuff at the top, and I thought that was a fun thing. They could just not have decorated it, but they added little palm trees, and you can see some of the fish that is swimming at the top. But it's a very deep tubular thing, and this was one of the enclosures that they had like multiple scuba divers in that was cleaning the tank basically. So they had a good variation between small tanks and big tanks and different fishes. And then at the top, as I said, they were talking about conservation, and they had a whole piece here where they talked about like all the garbage that we throw in the sea and how long time it takes for it to break down, what it can do to hurt the wildlife. So it does have like educational pieces. With all of the fishes had little educational notes on what fishes that were in the aquarium, the names of the fishes and all of that. But there were a few people in the aquarium, so I didn't feel comfortable like standing and filming every little sign. So I'm just showing off all the cool fishes because I thought it was such a cool place to be in. Now, this place is as much for adults as for children. They did have some areas where if you were a small person, which I am not, you could kind of crawl in and you can kind of be evolved by all of the fishes, like little tubular things. As you hear, tubular is apparently the word I'm using today. But there, you could really you could go in there and you can sit and you can have all the fishes around you. Now, I am claustrophobic. To a certain degree. So I didn't even try, both because I am a little bigger than the holes really allowed for, but also because you had to crawl on your knees, and you know me, I have joint issues. So yeah, I never did go in there, but you might be able to do it as an adult too. It was just not made for me, but there were like where these little areas that you could walk into were, you could go all around the tanks, so you could see the same thing, just not have that like feeling of being enclosed everywhere. Also, at some of these tanks, you could, when you walked in the beginning, you could see them from above. And then when you got lower down, you could see them from the sides, which I also thought was kind of cool. So they you could see the same fishes multiple times. And I really didn't mind that. I thought it was it made it possible to kind of see them from above, how you would see them when you're out boating, and then from the sea, like if you were scuba diving yourself. And this is kind of their biggest, like the shark tank, with a lot of more bigger fishes in, and I really enjoyed all of the little enclosures. It is a great place to be. Now, I would say if you, like us, don't stay by every little tank, don't look at every little tank. There were people around us that stayed several minutes by every tank. We don't have that patience, and there were also a lot of people in some places, so we kind of just moved on from that. If you were a person who did stay a longer time, it probably would take you 3 to 4 hours to go through it. There are places where you could eat, like little coffee place, and also more like a lunch restaurant. We did neither. We chose to just leave the aquarium and eat outside of it, because it's always more expensive to eat at the cafes and the lunch restaurants inside, and usually it's a little bit harder for me to figure out what to eat because they don't have as much difference in food. So we just decided that we wouldn't eat inside there. And I must say, after the Shark Tanks, I was quite exhausted, mainly just from having migraines and being me and not having all the energy up. So towards the end here, we did move a little bit faster even from the Shark Tank and on, because we both felt that, well, we have seen most of the things and we're kind of aquariumed out. By the way, these fishes, I don't know what they're called in English. They're called muränor in Swedish, and there were so many of them, and these are the most vicious fishes that exist. They're evil, and I thought it was so fascinating on how many of them they had, and they had a lot of like little small crevices that they could hide in, just like they would do in their like regular life in the sea. So I think that is super awesome, how they really go for the fishes. And by the way, I know all of this about these fishes because there was they had like a joke about them in one of these like comedian shows, and of course, me being me, I had to figure out what that was and everything. So I read everything I could about those fishes because that is who I am. I could probably could have more hyper focus on the rest of the fishes in this place, but I just enjoy watching them and seeing all of the little fishes and the crabs, even though crabs kind of creeps me out a little bit. Crabs are a little bit, yeah, they're like the spiders of the sea, and I'm not a spider person, so yeah. But there were so much, like here, this is actually a bigger tunnel. I forgot about this until I actually saw the clip here, but they do have those tunnels that you can see the fishes all around you, but it had so much space that I wasn't worried. Those little tunnels for the children, they were too tight for me. I would just have been crazy. Also, catfishes, I love catfishes. They're beautiful. He came and visited. He was pretty big actually, but they're cute. Fishes are cute. I don't know. I think they're super adorable, and they're gorgeous. And I think these are piranhas, and piranhas are also vicious, just like the murana. It's a very vicious fish. However, those were the last fishes here, so I'm gonna turn it over to me in the real time over there.
So we have just left the aquarium. It was super nice. If we had gone a little bit slower, we could have stayed even longer, but we kind of went through it, felt we were done, and now we're at this mall. It is like a 4-floor mall. It does have a supermercado in the bottom, so groceries. So that was kind of why we went here. But it is empty. Like most of the stores are closed. Like you look in and there's just dust everywhere. It's just like no one's here. It is open and the supermercado is there, and on floor 3 I think it's just both McDonald's and Burger King, so there's like food here, but it's like empty. But we're basically, this is very close to our hotel, but it's also very close to the harbor where the cruise ships are. So it's quite it's a nice place, and it has these outdoor areas every floor, so you can get quite a good view of the harbor. We're gonna continue walking around here, get a little bit something to eat, probably McDonald's, just something simple, and then we're gonna head down and pick up some things from the supermercado. And that is kind of our start of the day, at least. We'll see how much. It's this day 2, number 2 full day here. It feels like we've been here for a week because yesterday was kind of intensive, even though it was relaxing. I don't know. It's super nice here though. It's great weather. It is much warmer today than it's been any of the other day. The wind has been very chilly the other days, and today it's very humid and much warmer. I actually really like the weather today. But yeah, let's get going to the supermercado, our first lunch.
So the next adventure we went on, this is a couple of days later, I don't remember which day this was that we wanted to go and visit a small boat harbor that was a couple of kilometers down from where we lived. And I thought I'd take you with us on our little journey. This is probably the day that, I recorded the most. As I said earlier, I think, is that we basically just relaxed a lot when after this. Christopher got a little slightly cold, and I picked it up a couple of days later. It wasn't something bad. We got a little bit of sniffles, but it made us a little bit extra tired. So we just started relaxing, and then that was where we ended up with. We only stayed from the 18th to the 4th, so it wasn't I think it was 2 weeks and a couple of days or something like that, 17 days or something. Anyhow, this is the day I did record the most, and we are out on a pier here, and people are putting shirts down on rocks and then kind of just signs them and said we were here, which I think was kind of cool. They also signed the stones and said they were here. But these piers, you're allowed to walk on them, and you're allowed to kind of look to the side to the boats, but you're not allowed, you can't go out to the boats. There are locked gates everywhere. And of course I had to show you the fishes, because there were fishes in the water everywhere, and they were beautiful. And also, you weren't allowed to fish from the pier. There were designated places where you could fish, but from these 2 piers that we went out on, you weren't even allowed to fish. So no wonder there were fishes everywhere. The sea was beautifully blue. Now, when we were there, the water was warm enough to bathe for some of the days. We just didn't end up going to the beach and doing that, mostly because I don't like sand. Yes, that's just how it is. A part of it. And also we saw these people learning how to sail these little boats. We thought it was so much fun. And also took some photos on kind of cool boats, because, like, as I said, I grew up in the archipelago in Sweden. I love boats and fishes and water. I just love it. It's kind of ingrained in me. So yeah, it was a beautiful walk. It was one of the warmer days. We were drinking good amounts of water and everything. The only thing I must say, it's very hard to find public toilets in Gran Canaria. They're very far in between, and some of them that says that they are public are not public. They're basically, in this area, most of them were only allowed to be for the boat crews. So basically, if you had a boat, you actually had a card that you could go into the toilets, which we couldn't. So yeah, after we went to that little harbor, we actually ended up going around in like the town area, just where the harbor was. And the houses was much more fancy than they were where we lived. So I thought I'd take some photos, because, you know, I love architecture. Also, I really like trees, and the foliage on these trees are kind of cool. The whole area was actually really beautiful. However, it wasn't like hotels. It was just living houses. So we wouldn't have been able to stay in the area anyhow. And now for the last day of our trip, or last day we recorded of our trip. This is a walk up to the northern part. There's like a area, protected wildlife area, which is more like desert. This is a lava island, so you're gonna see a lot of like desert-like lava island. And while you are looking at that, I'm gonna tell you about the last day of our trip. So the day before we were going to fly home, we ended our day eating sushi, because we had found this sushi restaurant on our way back. It looked very, very nice as a place and everything. However, most likely it was there. I picked up a tummy bug, not Christopher, just me, and it was a Campylobacter, something like that. Anyhow, it is a really nasty bug, and in most countries you do get antibiotics for it. In Sweden we're very careful with antibiotics, so I didn't end up getting antibiotics, but it took me 2.5 weeks to kind of heal my gut from that. That I was so sick, and I actually got sick throughout the night. So I had like severe tummy pain that kept me up all night, and like 4 o'clock in the morning it started, and I was in no shape of flying home that day that we were supposed to. So I ended up having to go Christopher went to the pharmacy and he got some medications, but they were not working fast enough. So we ended up having to rebook our tickets. It cost us, with both the flights and the extra night at the hotel, they cost us like $700 just to get home a day later. But if it wasn't for us being gold members with SAS, we might not have been able to move our flights, because when we looked at the flights, it looked that they were fully booked. But we were able to get home, which was great. I have been sick I was sick for 2.5 weeks, and then I've been back at work for the last week, so I haven't really had the energy and capacity to edit this video, because that happens. And yeah, it was an adventure, and I will talk, as I said, I will make a follow-up video on this, kind of talk on the pros and the cons of the trip, what we liked, what we didn't like, what we wasn't able to get to, the reasons why we weren't able to get to these places. All of those things I'm going to talk about in that video, and this is basically the end. We really had a nice time. It was 3.5, I think we walked about 7 kilometers, because I think it was 3.5 kilometers up and 3.5 kilometers back. And as you see, if you see there, I'm zooming in on our hotel. Over there is our hotel, so this was very close to our hotel, so we could just go out from the hotel and then continue walking. The area is mostly just rocks and sand, and then there's a few cacti here and there. And that was all from me for this turn around. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do, please thumbs it up. If you have any questions, comment down below, and I will see you soon with a video about all of the pros and cons of our trip. Bye! Have an awesome day!